Hello, welcome to my channel. This is the start of a cumulative haul. I have 3 items so far. I went to the Salvation Army because they were having a 50% off sale. I would not go to the Salvation Army if it wasn't for one of the big sales because their prices are just too high for sourcing. Possibly you could go and find some gem that's worth paying up for, but you'd have to spend a lot of time digging through there, and I just don't shop in regular thrift stores that way. I go when there's a big sale. Otherwise, I do better at the bins or yard sales. I do some estate sales. Anyway, it was 50% off. I went and I was only there about an hour. I didn't go through everything. I skipped tanks. I walked slowly in the skirt aisle to see if anything caught my eye. Nothing did. I didn't think about it until I got home to bed that I should have probably at least looked at the jeans, but jeans it's just a category that I'm not comfortable with. I do not do well with jeans. I have trouble figuring out what styles are right. I find it tedious to go through, because they have a long rack of jeans, and I find it very tedious to go through and look at every brand on them. But next time, I'm going to go through jeans. Anyway, it was 50% off shoes, clothing, and accessories. Naturally, I started at shoes. So let me show you what I got. I really have no right to pick these up. These are a pair of Nobles. They are a men's 7.5 or a women's 9. I have 2 pair of high top Nobles in my closet. They get a lot of attention, but they just, I don't think I've ever even gotten an offer on them. So buying another pair maybe was foolish. I had also picked up a gray pair at low tops at the bins, but I didn't end up listing them. I kept them and I like them. So I just decided to give these a try, and then I can always keep them if you know, they don't sell. I would not have bought probably any of these at full price. Okay, when I saw these boots, I thought, is this a pair of Drew's boots? I picked up Drew's boots when I was in Reno. They're like custom work boots, and they took a while because I don't think Drew's is necessarily, known by a huge amount of people. I had never heard of it until I found them. And they also probably took a while because they were an odd size. They were a men's 8C. So 8's a little bit small for men, C is narrow. They sold for $100. I got the, a 5-star rating. So I was happy and willing to wait. So they're similar to these. I actually like those style a little better. Like, I would have been tempted to keep those. They were a little small on me, and anything I could sell for $100, I'm probably not going to keep. These are a size 12D. It's weird. It says L size 12D, R size 12D. Is that left and right? Why would they do that? I don't know, but since they're both 12D, I don't need to worry about it. Manufacture date is 10/20/21, which is very specific. And the brand is White's Handmade Spokane. Is that how you say it? Spokane, Washington. Can you see it? I just really like them. They're heavy. I would have paid more for these if I'd gotten them at the bins. In fact, I don't know that I would have gotten them at the bins unless there was some nice cashier who was willing to give me a unit price, because I weighed one of them and it was almost 2 pounds, 13 ounces just for one. So I'm going to have to pay an upgraded shipping label, just like I had to do with the Drew's boots. So I wrapped it in bubble wrap and put it in a poly mailer. So I only had to go with the 6 pound. If I had put it in a box, it'd be a 7 pound. It's missing. Well, this is a partial lace. I thought it was leather or suede. I think it is. So I'm going to clean these up. I could look and see if I have some laces I can put on them. If not, I don't know, I guess I'll sell them without laces. We'll see. Then I picked up, this is a men's shirt, but it was in the women's section. I don't even think it was in the women's shirts. I think it was in the women's jackets. So somebody probably put it there by accident. This is Wrangler, size 16.5, 34. And I'm pretty certain this is a brush popper. Partly because I found the exact same one listed as the brush popper. And also I had looked that up. So you see how it has like the fabric is like that on one side and solid on the inside. That is a sign of a brush popper. Also, it's a stiffer cotton. It's kind of water resistant. Like if it gets wet, it's not going to soak through. And they're not officially, I don't think they're officially called a brush popper. I don't know if Wrangler calls them a brush popper or if that's just what they became known as. And I don't know if they still do brush poppers or if they're all vintage. I wanted to give it a try. There are some issues here. I don't know if that's paint. There's that one. And there's a little bit there. And is there another? I think there might have been another spot. I don't know. I'm going to try and clean it. I think this is the worst of it. I'm going to see if it cleans. If not, I can list it this way. It's, you know, it's kind of a work shirt. Though I'm sure you'll see the cowboys at the country western bar, you know, two-stepping in their brush poppers. But it's not really very noticeable. So we'll see. Like I said, half price. I'm willing to give it a shot. So that is what I found, and I don't know when I'm going to get to another store and have more to add to this video, but it'll happen. Mark my words. Okay, it's a Saturday, and I went out yard sailing. I was a little disappointed because I felt like there should be more. I didn't even brush my hair, just walked in the door. I felt like there should be more yard sales. Because in 5 minutes, it's going to be too hot for yard sale. So where are they? I have been out of town, so I don't know if there's been a lot of yard sales up until now. And I'm going out of town again, which means that by the time I get back, it's going to already be too hot for there to be, you know, community yard sales and stuff. So that's a bummer. It's not going to be a good yard sale season for me. What can you do? So I was determined to do some. I found, I'm going to start with this. This is a Coach bag. I did pay up a little bit for this. I don't buy Coach very often. Here's the Creed. It's white. You can't see it. I wondered if it was fake. It's very clean. But I did an image search. I found the exact same one sold for $153. That one was new. And I checked the Creed and it was identical. So feeling good about that and decided to give it a try. Considering the color, that light color, it's very clean. It's got some wear here and here. But otherwise, there isn't even crumbs. Weird. No crumbs in it. So decided to give it a try. I am being more particular. There was a Tumi bag that I liked, and normally I would just leap right in like, Tumi, that's expensive. But it was $10. The comps were not good. I saw one for sale for $30. So I'm kind of glad it wasn't less because I might have been tempted anyway. But even at $5, that's not what I'm looking, the profit margin I'm looking for. I don't want to spend $5 on something that I can only list for $30, which means then I will sell it for, you know, $24. And so that's 19. No, that's not something I'm interested in. So I didn't want to be not bedazzled. I don't want to be bedazzled either by the fact that it was a Tumi. Though, for $5, I might have kept it. Okay, then I went to another yard sale, and I picked up 2 items at this one. Okay, I don't know if I should tell you this because I don't know if I should be very proud of it. So I walked up, and the first thing I saw were these shoes. They're Donald Pliner, and Donald Pliner is expensive. Is there a price on these? No, they're the navy painted snake. They're super clean. Like, look at that bottom. Is it even possible they wore this anywhere that didn't have carpeting? I don't think so. They're a size 9.5, I think. Nine medium. So I like it. Classic pump. This nice block heel. So I said, it's a family doing this, and they all had their own prices. And I said to the woman that was standing there, how much are these? She says, I think she wants $2 for the shoes. So I immediately took $2 out and gave it to her. And she said, oh, nothing else? And I'm like, nope. And I ran and put it in the car. And then I actually came back and shopped because I didn't want to be holding on to them and then go pay and the other woman say, oh, no, those are 10. So I don't know if I should have done that. For 10, I would have had to do some searching to see whether they were worth it. I mean, they certainly are if you're buying them for yourself, because I'm trying to get the lid on the box. But with the box and practically new, I think that will be good. And then I picked up this dress. It's Banana Republic Factory. I don't pick up Banana Republic a lot. And Factory makes it even less likely, but it's new with tag. It was initially $150 and it's a size 10. What is it made out of? I don't know. It's silky, but I don't think it's silk. I'll look. A longish dress, got a slit. I don't know if patterns like this are really trending, but it's a very pretty dress. Elegant. I thought that was worth a try. It has like a waist, and then the top sort of flows over it. Maybe I'll add a picture because I did see this, you know, a stock photo of that. So that was all I found at several yard sales. And then I went to one yard sale and everything else is from that one. And at that point I was like, I think I've spent enough money. I have enough stuff. I have to go to the bathroom. So at this yard sale, I bought all men's stuff and I was super excited. I thought, oh, this is my best yard sale stop of the season, if not the year. And then looking over it again, I'm like, I don't know. Like I bought these shirts that are a brand I didn't know, and looking at comps, they're not bad. I'm not sorry I bought them, but they're not like, woo, look at that. So let's start with those, in fact. So I had heard of this brand. I just didn't know if it was good or bad. And the comps are very mixed. So I can always bundle them. I think are they all the same size? XL, XL. The story is this guy's father, it was his business partner or something, and the guy had a storage unit. The guy died, and they got everything out of the storage unit, and he stored a lot of stuff. I wonder if these hangers are worth anything. They say Robert Graham. Anyway, the brand is Nest. American Fit. I just thought the designs were pretty cool. This has this neat guitar, embroidery, embroidered applique, I guess it would be. I don't know. In a nice light blue. This is black with blue suede shoes, Seal Street, WC Handy, Gospel in the Air. Okay, so this is Walking in Memphis. Okay, I get it. Let me explain. There is a brand that he had, and I have some of them, and it said something like the Tailor of the King or something like that. And I was like, the King? Who's the King? And then I said, maybe it's Elvis because this is a company in Memphis. Yeah, I guess it is. But I have more from that guy. So it's all kind of Elvis Presley Memphis-y stuff. Which, you know, hey, maybe this is a rare one and I'll make a lot of money on it. I'm not usually that lucky. And then this one is new with tag. It was $155. This one is a little plainer, blue on blue embroidery, short sleeve. They all feel like they're rayon. Let's see. It could be raw silk, actually. At $155, it should be raw silk and not rayon. There's a tag here, but it doesn't have the fabric content. I do not see any fabric content. This is called the Insider. Oh, I guess I'll have to look this one up and then figure out what the fabric is. Maybe the others have it. I'm looking for the fabric on this black one, and I found this. It says, walk through Memphis, experience places where the first notes of musical history were recorded and where music became a way of life. Put on your blue suede shoes and explore the musical legends that were crafted in the Mecca of blues, rock, and soul. Limited edition 2014. Well, it's limited edition. That doesn't really mean anything. If I see anything before I release this, I'll add it. More Robert Graham hangers, and that's because these are actual Robert Grahams. I know Robert Graham doesn't do what it used to, but at yard sale prices, he actually, so he gave me a price on everything, and then we rounded down. So it ends up being a pretty good deal. This is new with tag. It's $198. It was sold at Lansky, which I'm guessing is a place in Memphis because there was a lot of stuff from Lansky. This is called the White Horse in royal blue, also extra large. And of course I looked to see if it had, and it does, because that is, you know, is a big deal, I think, for Robert Graham, or at least it used to be. Black under there, that contrasting fabric, what he's known for. And the best example of this in modern culture is Cam from Modern Family. He wore a lot of Robert Graham with the cuffs rolled up and the different fabric. I should go through and look at pictures of Cam from Modern Family and see. You never know, you might find the actual shirts, and that would possibly add value. This one's also new. This one, oh my God, no. $298 for a shirt? Okay. Pretty design. I mean, really, when you consider the prices of these things, I did score. There's the other color underneath there. Oh, it doesn't even open up. Oh, it does open up all the way. Anyway, also extra larges, both of these. After I had paid, he offered to help me, you know, put in my car. I said, well, let me bring it over because I was parked a little ways down, and then I walked through the yard sales in that corner. And so as I was putting in my car, I went back and there were ties. I'm like, ooh, ties. So I ended up picking up one tie for $1. He said they're all $1. None of them were brands that I was familiar with except for this one. And it's Aquascutum, which is a very expensive brand. And I was like, for $1, I will buy an Aquascutum. This one is for Malaysia Airlines, though, which I didn't even realize. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if it's worth selling on its own. I used to know how to tie a tie. Oh, look at that. Because I had a job as a server in which we wore, like, the most impractical thing. We wore a white button-down shirt with a tie and then a sweater on top of that. That's not super comfy for a server. Anyway. The guy did have a thing for Western. There were several, like, leather vests, a couple of Scullys, which I was tempted by. And he was charging $5 a piece, but I don't typically do that well with vests. So I ended up not buying those, which I don't know if that was good or bad. I'm sure I could have made some money on the Scully vests, but I think with Scully, I want to stick to like a slightly more substantial piece. I bought these and I feel like I've heard of it, and I should have looked them up and I didn't, but they had the coolest buttons. And I think he said they were $2 a piece. So the brand is Stubbs. If I find anything about it, I can put it up there. Stubbs. And it obviously is it's not like cowboy Western. Like this would be the Sharpshooters Club or something. It's got these star buttons. And there's two of these, so I could lot them up if they're not worth that much. Also extra large. This one's denim. And this one is red. Oh, it's been dry cleaned. And has those cool buttons too. I mean, I bet just the buttons are worth it. Buttons are expensive. Have you ever shopped for buttons? Buttons are expensive. Okay, 3 more pieces, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Lansky, which I mentioned earlier, at the Peabody, Memphis. So, Memphis. Walking to Memphis. I hear Cher on Pandora singing that a lot, and it's a nice song. Okay, look at this. Paid a little more on this and the next item, but overall, I'm like, I did look this up. So, Lansky Brothers, Clothier of the King, Memphis, and the brand itself is Talia. I just thought this was so cool. And I found quite a bit of Talia, and I did, I think, see this exact jacket listed somewhere for $150. Does not have a price tag, so I don't know how much it retailed for. I was on the fence, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to take it. Look at that fabric inside. How can I not make some money on this? Okay, maybe I won't make a fortune. I don't know. Made in China. Oh, well, what do you expect? I mean, even if I don't make a fortune, I won't. Oh, wait, here. The regular price, it just says sport coat. I never know whether to say sport coat or sports coat. 1 word, 2 words. It's very confusing. But there it is, $225. Then my 2 favorite pieces. We'll start with the boots. He had 2 pair of cowboy boots. 1 pair didn't seem to have a brand, so I left those. These, they have seen better days. The leather is still in a very good shape, but there is some heel drag, and this is the worst part of it. It doesn't go all the way through, so you totally can still wear it. It's just the first layer, and it can be resold. So I wouldn't have bought these if they were a typical Justin, Tony Lama, Dan Post, Durango, Acme. I would not have bought these boots, but they are, okay, it comes with a little thing. Oh my God, that's so cute. It's the boot mate where you put your, you put your foot on it, and then you put your heel here to hold it down, and then you lift to get the boot off. I have one in metal that's shaped like a steer head. That's really cool. It's like the horns where you put your heel in. But this looks like a little, like a little traffic thing. And then there's something else. Oh, there's a boot thing from M.L. Letty's, a handmade Texas legend. I'm assuming this is cedar. I don't know. I might keep these. Yeah, there's 2 of them. But anyway, I bought them because they are, I paid $5 for these. Lucchese, handmade. So, yeah, I'm willing to sell these to somebody who can wear them as is or get them fixed. And these are a size 10D. I'm curious what these might be worth given the condition. Since the top is in actually excellent condition, I'm not too concerned. It's kind of weird how it's sort of warped there, but I guess that's from going like that. No, it doesn't look like it would be from that. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what that texture is. I don't think it's any kind of like exotic. I think it's just leather that's embossed leather, but I'll look them up and see what I can find. The other pair were really cool looking, but with no brand name, I let it go. And my final item, I'm excited about this. Oh wait, it's not my final item. I have 2 more items. This is the one I'm super excited about. No, wait, maybe I'm excited about both of them. I can't remember. What was it about this one that I loved? Okay, let's start with this one. I immediately felt it. See, there's always talk about going to the bins and wearing gloves. Okay, I wasn't at the bins, but a lot of this stuff was just in a big box and I was digging through and I felt this. I was like, oh, that feels really good. What's that? It is also M.L. Letty's, a handmade Texas legend. But, are you ready for it? You ready? Here we go. Loro Piana. So I don't know if you saw, I had a haul video late last year. I had gone to the Palm Springs area for Thanksgiving and I went to the bin store there, not a Goodwill, and I picked up a men's coat. And I was on the fence about it because it was heavy. And it was only after the video hadn't been made, but I edited it to show. I found in the pocket that it was made from Loro Piana fabric and it sold for $370 pretty quickly. So I am thrilled about this. Absolutely thrilled. It is just a nice short jacket. It's got this, what I assume is leather piping in a Western vibe. I'm gonna also assume it's an extra large, made in the good old US of A. That's not a Memphis accent. 100% wool and 100% leather trim, acetate lining in great condition. Now, I was thinking that the other one, why was I excited about this one? I was excited about this one. I don't even remember. Oh, I know. It is designer. Comes with the bag. Made in Italy. Well, you know, I stop if it says made in Italy. I immediately look at it. Beautiful men's coat. Looking in the pockets in case there's anything about Loro Piana hidden. No. But it is a beautiful men's coat. Do we have a... Oh, let's find the tag that says what it's made out of. This is actually an XXXL size 58. Made in Italy. Details real leather. 50% cashmere. I'm okay with that. And 50% wool, virgin wool. And it is a, let's find a tag that you can read it. It is an, remember I studied how to say this properly. Ermenegildo Zegna. This has to be worth, this has to have sold for, what do you think? Any guesses? Like in my head, this probably sold for around $2,000. Could be wrong. Whatever. I think that's pretty exciting. It is a classic men's longer length winter coat. And that is it. So tell me, how did I do at this particular haul? I was super excited and then I got home and I was like, well, I don't know. I should have looked up that nast stuff and I didn't. And I didn't look up the stubs and I should have, but I still think I'm going to make some money here. So thank you for being here and watching. And in the comment section, tell me, how did I do? What do you think is the most amazing piece? Loro Piana? Lucchese? I don't know. See you on the next one.